but it's going to take up so much shelf space. I mean, that box, if you look at that box, it's like this big, and you can buy the regular one if you just want to experience what it is, and the box is like this. Hey, I'm Devin.
And I'm Mary Kate.
And we're Picking Up Pieces.
A channel all about board game pieces.
And how to pick them up. And in today's video, we're giving you 5 Kickstarter games that are ending in May.
Yes, May.
Okay, it's still April. Okay, so ending in May, and 5 of them that are intriguing to us. And then we're just going to break them down, and then at the very end of the video, we're going to tell you which ones we might be considering backing. So, in saying that, let's get to the first board game. I'm about to say first board game. All right, first board game is Taiwan Night Market, which ends on, let me see, May 6th, and it's designed by TBD Games and also, published by BD Games, and then designed by Zhongquan Yang, or parentheses, Bob. So, if you go to his BGG page or to the of the game, it have him right there, his name, and then Bob. So, Bob, good job making this game. All right, so Taiwan Night Market or is made, obviously, by these guys, TBD Games, which is actually a publishing company in Taiwan. And so, they are a small publishing company, international company, and I think you can get those games online and able to ship them to you, but shipping's a little bit more expensive. And for this campaign, this game was already made, I think, like a year ago, but this is made for the international audience. Oh. And so they're making the shipping cheaper, and that they actually even said on the campaign page that they are covering some of the shipping costs in order to try to get it more widely accessible.
Interesting.
So how the game works is that Taiwan actually has a huge night market scene where you have people constantly just filling up wall to wall or outside of just hundreds and hundreds of people trying to buy food or items in general that they may want. And so ultimately they're going down this this row, and can just keep going because this goes forever. And so rows of them just trying to buy either food that they want or items that they want. And so you, as the person who are trying to sell to these people on this player board, are trying to buy the spots or auctioning off these spots where you are ultimately selling it to them. And so you want to get the highest spots to sell the items, or the ones that are closest to the beginning line, because people are going to buy things closer to the beginning rather than the end. And so you only have so many spots on the board, and ultimately all these people want different categories of items, whether it be drink or food or so on and so on. And so they'll pass by the stalls that are not selling the items they want until they find the stalls that they want. And so the game is that not only are you worrying about getting closer to the beginning, but also you want a grouping. So it's kind of like an auctioning and area control game, because if you more of a grouping you get with these stalls, it makes your stall bigger and can fit more people you're selling to, and also I think sell the items for more money. So the game definitely seems a little interesting. It does not seem hard at all. It's very light game. And I think I think you can buy it after the campaign. It just might cost you a little bit on shipping, or maybe you might be able to find it at stores. But the game looks cute. It looks easy to get to the table, which is always fun. And also it's a small publishing company. So that's Taiwan Night Market.
All right, so the second game we're going to talk about today is Weirdwood Manor. So this is the first board game that's being published by Grey Ridge Games. The end date on this Kickstarter is May 11th. Okay. So this is the first board game published by Grey Ridge Games, and I specify board game because this board game is actually based on their iOS game for iPhone, iPad, that type of thing. So their iOS game is like this story-driven game where you're like solving little puzzles, and it's set up in like books, so it's kind of like a book reading / listening experience while you're also interacting with it, solving little puzzles. And so the board game is a co-op board game where each player has asymmetric abilities, and your job is to save this place of Weirdwood Manor, which is kind of like a gathering place where two dimensions kind of cross, where they kind of lean into that fae kind of mythology, where there's a lot of kind of fae/fairy activity with mythical creatures and things like that. And so Weirdwood Manor is like, in each scenario, you're battling a specific kind of evil fae monster that's attacking Weirdwood Manor. The really interesting thing about this game is, so it has a circular board, and on your turn, you first plan your actions and you put out action cards for different times of day. And as it goes through, it has these little circular passages that turn, and they close off different rooms and open different passages as you go through the day. And it spends time in order to do your actions to try to collect resources. You can't attack the monster, but before you attack the monster, you might want to spend some of those resources to improve your dice or get companions that allow you to do extra actions. But the further along you go, the more kind of actions get closed off or opened off due to this kind of circular turning mechanism. And also the monster is leveling up as you go about all of this. So the monster's getting stronger. It's sending these little scarab minions out, which block doorways and stuff, so you can't go through them. And so you're spending actions to make yourself stronger and to gain different supplies in order to eventually defeat the monster. So I think it's really interesting. It's an interesting theme. You don't really see necessarily this kind of like fae kind of monster mythology in a lot of different games. So it's interesting. All the mechanisms of the game are really interesting. So yeah, it's definitely a game to keep an eye on. Retail, it is planning to go retail, but when you buy the game on Kickstarter, it comes with a mini expansion that will not be retail. Also, all the Kickstarter content and the Kickstarter game, they said, is between $20 and $45 cheaper than if you buy it retail after the campaign. So just some things to keep in mind.
Yeah. And also the game, the artwork looks really good, but that player board and how you interact with that player board, or not player board, but main board, the circle.
Super interesting.
It looks really cool. So definitely it's on our radar for sure. All right. Next game is, hopefully I get this right, Teotihuacan, City of Gods, the deluxe master set. And I said hopefully I get it right, and it's such a, like, it's been out for years now. I mean, it's been out, I think 2017 is when it originally was published. So, but me and Mary Kate, obviously we haven't played it yet, and this might be a good entryway, even though I don't know for sure if it's a good entryway because of how expensive it's going to be, because it is a deluxe master set. So the only thing difference between this and the other game is the fact that it has everything, and not only does it have everything, it has everything to the deluxe. Everything is just straight up produced out the wazoo. And so it ends May 12th. And also it's published by Board and Dice, which they made pretty much all the T-Series games, like Tyletum or other things like that. And then also they've made like the Network, which I really am interested in, haven't got it yet, want to get it. And then also designed by Daniel Susny, who also made all those T-Series games. And so pretty much the game, how it works, if you don't know by now, is that it's definitely a heavy Euro game. What I think this is considered a rondel when you're moving around the temple with your dice. So it's a rondel and a dice placement game. And whenever you're moving around this, it gives you can do either different actions or get resources. And ultimately everyone is building up towards this temple in the center, or this pyramid in the center, where you're building up in order to get the most points possible. And there's different tracks in the game, so you're getting resources, and while you're moving around getting resources and then also doing different actions, you're improving these dice. So it's like a dual thing. You're doing these actions, and then also you're trying to improve the dice in a way to do better actions as the game goes on. And so the game is beloved for sure, and it's considered really good. I mean, it's in the top 100 of BGG, so definitely, but you know, top 100 BGG usually leans heavy, so it's a heavy game, but the artwork on it looks so good, but it's going to take up so much shelf space. I mean, that box, if you look at that box, it's like this big, and you can buy the regular one if you just want to experience what it is, and the box is like this big. All right, and so And also the retail that you can buy right now is between $30 and $40. Where this other one is like the deluxe edition is like $100. So, but again, it is like if you want deluxes, I'm right there with you. I love deluxeified things. I love high quality production. This has that. And again, the artwork, they improve it on it. And so it's something I'm definitely interested in, but at that price difference, I think I would still roll with just trying to learn the game with the retail edition, because it's only $30 to $40. And so, but again, I mean, you know what, by this point, most of the people are going to know if they want this or not.
Yeah, you know who you are, the people who want the deluxe version.
You know who you are. And again, it comes with everything. Like, this is probably it. They're probably not making anything else for this game. And I'm not saying that off of any authority, but just thinking, like, this is it. So, like, it comes with all the expansions that have already been made. And then also you have the possibility, if you already have the base game and you want to deluxify it, they have the ability for you to just buy the deluxe opponents to add to the game. And also it comes with the 5th player expansion that many people seem like they're pretty excited about. And so you can just buy the 5th player expansion. The deluxe game by itself does not come with a 5th player expansion. So you have to buy the deluxe game and the 5th player expansion together if you don't already own the game. Just FYI. So yeah, that's that game for sure. Teo Theo Khan. So yep, definitely a cool. Ends May 12th. So.
All right. So our next game up is Endeavor Deep Sea. So this is put out by a collaboration between Burnt Island Games and Grand Gamers Guild. So the designers of this game are Carl DeVisser and Jarrett Gray. And this ends on Kickstarter on May the 18th. So Endeavor Deep Sea is the sequel to a game that is highly regarded of Endeavor Age of Sail. Now, this is a completely different game. Age of Sail, kind of, you're on this whole board, you're sailing around, you're occupying cities. It's in the colonial era, you're building up things and whatnot. Whereas Endeavor Deep Sea, we are exploring the oceans. So we're exploring different levels of the oceans, as it says deep sea, going deeper into the sea. So our goal in Endeavor Deep Sea is to discover things about the oceans, perform research, and overall, we're trying to understand and protect the oceans better. This is a scenario-based game, so each scenario has slightly different goals and things that you're trying to achieve in order to reach the end of the game. So they have basically different missions. It does have the same kind of system of the original Endeavor Age of Sail. So there are different cards that you place discs on, and then you can then retrieve the discs to be able to do those actions again. So on your turn, you would have some specialists out in front of you, and you place a disc on one of your specialists in order to take the action that that person performs. So this might be travel, going to a different spot. You might be using sonar to discover new zones, diving, conserving to gain impact, or publishing scientific journals in order to promote your specialists and make them have new abilities. What's really interesting about this game is, first of all, it has every single scenario you can play it co-op, competitive, or solo, which is just really kind of interesting. It makes the game really versatile for whatever it is that you're really feeling.
It's hard to do that, though. It is hard to do all 3 of those in one game.
Yeah. And so it's not just they have some solo, some co-op, some competitive. They all can do all of the things.
Okay.
But what's really kind of unique about this game is you're discovering the board as you go. So there are these different decks of cards that you set out beside the board that are shuffled. And so you start off with like the surface of the ocean, kind of there to where you can see. And as you go and you use the sonar action and things like that, you flip out new cards at different depths. Okay. So your board is different every time, and you're discovering new things as you go, which is really interesting. As you go through, you have these 4 tracks that you're building up on in order to get points. Things like reputation, inspiration, ingenuity, and something I need more of, coordination.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely need more of that.
So this game is really interesting. It's only going to have like limited retail. So Kickstarter is definitely the way to go if you're for sure wanting this game.
Safe bet.
It's your safe bet. But I think this game is really interesting. The way you reveal the board is super cool. And I like the theme of exploring the oceans a lot better than I like the theme of like, I'm going to go take over. Like it has slavery in the other game where you're like going around taking over stuff and whatnot. I like this better.
Okay, yeah.
I would be much more excited to play this game.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's Deep Sea. Next game is definitely out of all these games is the big boy, the one that I think most people get excited for. But it is Guardians of Atlantis 2 tabletop MOBA. So it ends the 25th of May. So you got plenty of time to decide if you want this game or not. And it's designed by Wolf's Design, and then I'm not even going to try to say the guys who published it. We'll just put it right here. So this game, I'm trying to think how to describe it. So pretty much it's, I think, a 4 to 6 player game, but if you buy everything, I think you can go from 2 to 10 players. In this game, you do not want to play, I would say, on the 2-3 players. You want to play with at least 4, if not more. So it's going to be, if I'm going to give it a negative, it's going to be hard to table because it's a more complicated game, or it's not super complicated, but it is more complicated, and you're going to need a lot of players who's going to be on that level to get it to the table. Because it's pretty much what you have one team versus another team, which I love. I love playing team-based games. I love cooperative games as long as there's still competitiveness against another human. So team-based games is definitely my thing. And so you have your own base over here, and then you have the other person's base over here, the other team. And pretty much you're going through and then you're fighting each other. But there's also AI or like minions in the center of the board. And so while you're fighting the other team, you're also worrying about the other AI, because you can win through, I think, 3 different ways. You could win through either killing the other heroes or through killing the minions and getting to the other person's base. So, and there's 3 different sections in the main board. You got the section closest to your base, the middle section, and the section toward the other person's base. And so it starts off in the middle section where all the minions are spawning in, and you're killing off hopefully not only the heroes but the minions, because then you're going to push the minions closest to the other person's base on the opposite team. So once they're in that zone and you're able to kill the minions off again in that zone, then I think you start doing damage to the person's base and like hopefully win the game. So you're dealing with multiple different win conditions, not only worrying about the heroes but also worrying about the minions, because if you allow the other team to push you towards your base, it's more likely you're going to lose. So you have to be a well-oiled machine. And you can strategize, but at the same time, you got to think for yourself and be able to think about things on the spot. Because everybody is asymmetrical. Everyone has their own heroes. And you always have, I think, 5 cards in your hand. And you only have 5 cards in your hand. You can upgrade them throughout the course of the game. And again, it's definitely, I think it's going to be a tough game to table. But it is impossible to get. This game, was only Kickstarted a few years ago or a couple years ago. I forget when the original Kickstarter was. And it's been out of print since, and it's super expensive. And it's not going to retail again. So if you want it, you got to get it through the through the Kickstarter right now. Or it's actually on GameFound. And so the game is, I think it's, if you just want to buy the box, the main box itself, it's like $50-some, like $50 to $60. But with this game, you want to get as many heroes as possible to definitely add variety, because you're not going to get it afterwards. If you like it, that's all you're going to get. And so with all the heroes and all the different expansions, I mean, you're paying, I think it's over $200 for the all-in. So think how much you want the game for sure. But if you do want it, I would also advise that it has a great online community, because this game is actually online. So play it online before the 25th, and if you really like it and you think you're going to get it to the table, then I would say get it to the table, because I mean, I've heard nothing but great things. I've heard amazing. So I'm probably going to try to play it online and then decide if I want to get it myself as well. So that's Guards of Atlantis 2.
And those are all 5 of our games. So we have not previously talked about which ones we're thinking about backing.
Yeah.
So after listening to all the details, Devin, what game are you feeling the most excited about?
So I feel like I know which game I want to get, and I think it's the same as you. So what game is yours? Weirdwood?
Oh.
Is it not?
No, mine is Endeavor Deep Sea.
Okay, so mine's Weirdwood. So both of mine are the one that I want the most is Weirdwood, but that one's going to go to retail afterwards. And then also it's a new publishing company, so you don't know exactly how the game is going to be on the Kickstarter experience, and then also how the game is actually going to be after you get it. But I'm most excited about that one.
Interesting. I am excited about that one. It looks really cool. I didn't expect you to be the most excited about that one because you don't love co-op.
Yeah, but the player board or the main board seems really interesting. Moving the player board around the different passageways and how to interact with that seems really interesting. And I am also interested in the MOBA one or Guards of Atlantis, but because it's going to be like after the campaign's over, it's going to be really hard to get. But if I'm going to do it, I think I want to go all in because I'm going to like it. Then I'm going to want all the heroes because I'm not going to be able to get them again.
But like,
that's so expensive though.
How often are we realistically going to actually play that game to need all of the expansions?
And that's why I chose Weirdwood. So I do agree with you. Not only just all the expansions, but just the game in general.
Yeah.
You know, because it also has an online community and an online game if you actually want to play it online. So
that's actually, whether we would play it a lot or not, is actually what pushed me more towards being excited about Endeavor Deep Sea.
Okay.
Because I felt like out of the two that I looked at that I was like super excited about, I looked at Weirdwood Manor and Endeavor Deep Sea, and I was like, I feel like we would probably play Endeavor Deep Sea more often.
Yeah.
But the little turny things on the board that change
it seems
stuff,
really interesting.
it looks really cool.
And I like the artwork. So definitely. So those are the games that we're most excited about. And hopefully it helps you guys make a better decision or even inform you, oh, maybe this is a game I might want to buy. So thanks guys for watching the video. But most importantly, we just want to say thanks for watching. And also more important, wait, what? I completely forgot.
Second time in a row.
Yeah. More important.
You're having a great day.
No. Well, don't even say anything if you're not going to know what it is. Don't even. Is it? What is it? What? It's going to be like a little montage of me trying to remember what it is. What I usually say. We value all of you, and if we, more importantly, we value every single one of you. If we have the chance, we would love to play board games with all of you. So until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's it.